Herodotus, the Greek historian, reported that in ancient Persia, they tended to deliberate on important matters while they were drunk and then reconsider the decisions the following day when they were sober. If it happened that their first deliberation took place when they were sober, then they would reconsider the matter under influence of wine. If a decision was approved both drunk and sober, the decision held. If not, the Persians set it aside. My name is Willows.
And my name is Tyler.
And we're both young business guys who still adhere to these ancient traditions. Join us as we debate and discuss business topics, moves we're making, politics, and more, both sober and then drunk, to see if we come to the same conclusion. This is Alcohol Beyond This Point. Perfect. That was like, I didn't even stumble on that one.
Fantastic. You want a sales job?
No.
Okay.
What are we drinking today?
An assortment of craft beer.
Mostly local.
Yep.
All Canadian.
Yep.
So we got 3 local breweries. We got Winnipeg Brewworks. We got Barnhammer, and we got One Great City.
Didn't even realize that was One Great City, actually.
Yeah. Then we got a Parallel 49, Jerkface 9000. That's a good IPA, right? Some of that. Maybe not. I don't know. And then we got our friends from the east, Lake of the Woods. They're actually moving a location into Winnipeg.
Yes, I heard about that.
And we also have this can that doesn't have a brand on it.
We're not talking about that one.
We're not talking about it. Anyway. So hello. I'm gonna put this recording down. Welcome to the podcast. This is the time where Tyler tells us what the topic is, because
I'm the only one that comes up with that.
I was supposed to come up with a topic and I didn't do it until right now. What do you want?
Beer first.
Yeah.
Beer first. I'm gonna go for the no name.
The no name brand?
Yeah.
Shout out Superstore. Shout out Loblaws. No name brand.
I wish. That would be.
They have that in Ontario.
Really?
Ford did the thing where he was letting grocery stores like sell alcohol or whatever, so they made their own as like a meme. It's like not a constant thing.
It's probably the best beer.
It's probably really shitty. Someone had it on my Facebook. I'm gonna crack.
Oh yeah, that's hoppy as hell.
I'm cracking that. Like the woods.
No hoppy, no fruity.
Cheers.
A little tabletoppy here. Don't worry about it.
So yeah, what's the topic today?
Topic today is it useful to consume or, I guess, use social media on a regular basis?
And I think we're going to talk both as an individual and then as a business or entrepreneur.
Right, and for you entrepreneurs out there that, quote, use social media to promote your brand, but actually just scroll all day and look at girls in cars, that's on the table. So I think it's a good debate topic because Willows and I likely do not agree on most of it.
I feel like this is going to be one of the ones
we're going to argue about.
We're not going to have a similar. So I am very pro social media, both as a business, both as aimless scrolling, memes, cat pictures, girls, everything. I use social media a lot. I think I'm probably on, Facebook, Instagram stuff, more than the average person. I remember I planned a surprise for my ex-girlfriend, and she was able to figure it out because I wasn't posting on Snapchat like once every 2 hours. She's like, "Why haven't you posted all day today?" I'm like, "Damn, my downfall is posting constantly." So I'm very active on social media, more so than you. I post pretty much daily.
Yeah.
I engage people in debate. I post a lot about politics. I post on memes. I troll people for fun. I do a lot of scrolling. I'm very in tune with social media. I also do use it for my businesses. I make a lot of money off social media. It's a great way to talk to your customers. So I'm going to, sober me says good.
I think drunk you was going to say very good.
Better.
Much more better
more
of
better.
that. Yeah. Okay, so let me ask you, what is your personality type for the audience?
Same as yours, ENTP?
What about DISC?
I don't know.
That doesn't help.
Boom, got your...
We were just doing them in our office the last couple days.
I'll take it, and no for next episode.
It's very similar to the 16 personalities. They're all very similar.
Yeah.
Okay, ENTP, extroverted, intuitive, thinking, perceptive, right?
What's the N?
Intuitive. Seriously. Intuitive.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Extrovert and intuitive.
Because there's already an I on the first.
T, thinking, P, what?
Perception, or perceiving, or...
Perceiving. That sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah, so E, extroverted, N, intuitive. Let's see. Intuitive versus feeling? No.
Should I Google it? No.
Anyways, it's not super important. We actually have the same personality type by the Myers-Briggs, which is ENTP. It's actually called the debater, which he pointed out the other day. I forgot, which is kind of funny that we ended up doing this podcast. Makes sense. But yeah, extroversion and social media. So you find an outlet in it. Do you think that it adds any stress to your life?
That's a good question.
You have to remove it to find out.
Yeah, I'd want to say no.
What about your cabin time when you shut it off?
That's different. I think that unplugging entirely is different than like just getting off social media.
Entirely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think like I think a lot of people though do the thing where like people always talk about this, and there's a big problem with people that like it creates, because like Instagram creates a culture, or social media, whatever, creates a culture where you're seeing the best side of people.
Yeah. And
you don't, so you're always envious because you're like, well, my life sucks, and look at all these people doing all this cool stuff. But in reality, their lives suck too. They just don't post about it, right? And it creates a lot of, I think there's a lot of envy, and there's a lot of like, oh, I wish I had that many followers and was able to do that shit and blah blah blah. But I'm not really an envious person. From when I made it, I actually made my Instagram when I was like 16, 17 to use pretty much as a vision board. Like I followed, influencers and car pages and, people with money and travel places and stuff like that. And because like as I was scrolling, I'm like, oh, like I want like save that car because I'm going to get that one day. Like save that watch because I'm going to get that one day. So I use it almost like that.
Now that you can save.
Yeah. But like, and it, just like having a board on my wall that says like, here's your goals kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So that's actually why I made my Instagram.
So you're saying what you really wanted was Pinterest?
Yes. Yes.
Got him.
I should have just made a Pinterest the entire time. But I
should be a social media guru.
Well, how long have you been on social media?
I think I started on Snapchat almost as soon as it started. Instagram, I was a little bit late to Instagram, probably a couple of years after it was already popular. Facebook was like, as soon as I was old enough to understand how to use it, I was using it.
Yeah.
But even with that being said, I think you and I are the generation where we kind of missed the all-consuming social media in like high school. By like a year or two.
Yeah, not like everyone had it.
Yeah, but
social media, but it wasn't the same. Like you ever see like an 18-year-old kid, their Snap score?
Right.
It's like 10 times mine. I don't even know how. Like.
Yeah. Or and they're using 3, 4, 5 different kinds of, you got TikTok. You've got there was House Party for a while. There's like all these things that are really popular.
Yeah.
That wasn't really happening when we were.
Yeah, not really. And I think like we also kind of people have mobile phones. Younger and younger. Like I didn't get my phone until grade 9 or 10.
Smartphones weren't cheap enough to get until like grade 9 or 10.
Yeah, like I had like a flip phone.
Yeah.
Just for like emergencies kind of thing that you couldn't call after 6 kind of thing. But like smartphones weren't really a thing until I graduated 2014, so they were just becoming like everyone had them in high school, obviously. But
yeah. And I was 13, so I was 1 more year removed.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it fucks kids up, honestly.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
I'm also pretty. Yeah, it's like I was gonna say I'm pretty libertarian and people should be able to fuck up their lives if they want.
Agreed.
But children, not so much.
Children don't have a lot of rights in that department.
Do you think there should be an age where you like their parents shouldn't let them go on Facebook or anything like that?
Ooh, that's a loaded question. I think when I'm a parent, I'll say absolutely.
Yeah.
But as
Facebook says 13.
Right.
You're not supposed to make an account before you're 13. But people, like, I know 8-year-olds with Facebook, right? Like.
Yeah, infants.
Yeah.
Infants with those Facebooks. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's like many things where high school age, you're kind of already thrown into the world. And yeah, it's making it more difficult, but it's not going to get any easier.
Why do you think social media is a detriment to people?
I think the inability to escape from it or understand that you can escape from it, because when you're older, you realize, like, you know, if there's like some cyberbullying happening, you can just cut it out of your feed.
Yeah.
You move on, and it's like, whatever, it doesn't matter. Unless it's like legitimate slander, in that case, you go to the police.
Then you sue, right?
Yeah, then you sue or go to the police.
Yeah.
Kids, it's just the end of the world.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, people kill themselves.
Yeah, right. Teenagers are just taking it in an entirely different light, because like people's popularity is less determined by their success in sports and academics or, you know, social skills. Now popularity is about how many views did you get on your last TikTok.
Yeah, which is interesting.
Which is really weird social construct.
Yeah.
It is stressing me out. Like, oh man, I met this guy. So I was in, I did a bunch of traveling in the last week, and I met this guy in Iowa. And his name was Tyler Smith. And he was, you know, this 20-year-old kid from New York, the state, not the city. Small town New York, moved to medium city Iowa, and was working for this real estate company. Incredibly innovative company. One of the most probably forward adapting of technology type of companies I've ever seen, besides actual technology companies. They behave like one, like a tech startup, but they're real estate. So this kid, Tyler, came straight out of high school, no training, no formal education, just kind of a high IQ at his back, and that's it. And this guy was coding and creating and designing and innovating at just a ridiculous pace, like casually as a carpenter will build a shed, this guy will build a software for you to make another $100,000 this week. And that's almost like, and we were discussing this in the office, because like our parents' version of I'm not really into technology, or I'm not very technology fluent, is, you know, I can hardly use my smartphone and my computer freezes, and then I lose my mind and bring it to Staples when all you have to do is turn it off and on again. We know these things. Next generation, next level of that is like these kids are learning in 3rd, 4th grade with gamification how to code.
That's it.
That leaves business owners and people like us so far in the dust.
Because now everybody starts at the level of being competent with technology because they're introduced to it when they're a kid.
Yeah, if you, like, I know some elementary school teachers, and they're introducing coding in like grade 4.
Yeah, well, it's smart because
it's insane.
Well, it's smart for the system to get ahead on that, because, you know, more automation and stuff like that, like that's going to become jobs, right? So
yeah,
smart. But like we didn't even have. I remember when we got like a computer lab in elementary school, right? Like,
I remember typing class, like, you better learn how to type because that's going to be a valuable skill.
And now everything's voice.
Now everything's voice, but I also type probably throughout my entire day.
Yeah, so do I. But like I learned how to read in part by playing like RPG video games.
Yeah.
That didn't have dialogue, right? You had to read a bunch, and that helped my vocabulary a lot. Like my mother will attest to that. Like from playing games with complex language, I was then retaining that and using it, which is interesting.
So to dial it back to social media.
Kind of, but okay, no, I was going to say, kids, I don't think they need to sit down and like, learn on all the right how to fucking type. They go on Facebook and they have to type stuff to their friends.
Yeah. Well, literacy is not a problem anymore.
Yeah.
Next will be code literacy.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe on top of that, it's like social media can make you smarter. But man, can it ever make you dumber?
See, I think, because I always hear the argument that people go, I don't know if you hold this opinion, but I hear the argument that like, oh, this generation sucks at fucking communicating and talking to each other.
I don't think that's true.
I don't either, because I have, Facebook group chats from groups with people all over the world. I'm talking to people from Australia and France and, Philippines and stuff like that. Like people I would have never been able to communicate with 15 years ago. I think we're a generation where people are learning communication skills more than anybody else.
Yeah.
It's just, shifting.
Yeah, like people, like our parents' age, could go through life with hardly speaking to anybody.
Yeah.
They'll talk to like 6 people at the coffee shop and a couple of friends at church and maybe one of their neighbors, and that's what they call like I'm more social.
Yeah, that's a dumb argument. I like the picture that's like it's this New York City bus in like 1930.
Yeah, I love this.
They're all reading newspapers, like every single person. Mm-hmm. It's like those damn smartphones are like making everyone antisocial. Like,
well, there was a time when people were upset about newspapers, or was it newspapers? It was something like people were getting rave on about newspapers because making people antisocial. They're spending all their time reading the news.
Oh yeah, it's always the next thing, right? Like there's a good quote from Henry Ford, the founder of Ford. Automobiles.
Well, that's what he did.
He wasn't the president. But he said if I had asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's like things evolve and you don't know, but there's always going to be people that were in the last generation like, wow, these damn cars, we should go back to horse wagons. And it's the same people that are like these damn smartphones, right? Same idea. There's always going to be people like that. But social media-wise, I think for the average person, I think it's bringing news and world events and educating people. It's making that easier. It's making communication more efficient, easier for people. People make friends on social media and stuff that become lifelong friends. And I think a lot of good comes from the average person.
Ooh, I got a good twist for this conversation.
Sure.
Because I feel like it's kind of running out of steam. What do you think about, because this is basically the same question, what do you think about the effectiveness of dating apps?
So that's interesting.
It's just a different form of social.
Yeah, I would consider Tinder as a social media.
Yeah, absolutely.
In a way, right?
Where you get to put forward a certain type of image, and most of them are completely about image.
Of course.
You're swiping in seconds or fractions of a second.
Yeah. But I'll go into it. But that's no different than sales 101 is the person that you're doing it selling to makes up their mind about you in 5 seconds, right? Based on what you're wearing, your handshake, right? That's no different than what
it is, though.
Presents as your profile.
It is, though, because you're making a decision in maybe half a second based on.
It's quicker, but it's the same theory.
It is the same theory, but I don't know if it works the same, because when you meet somebody, especially in a social setting, most likely you've at least spotted them across the room.
Yeah.
Watch their body language, even for a couple seconds. Watch them interact with other people. Saw how they approached with you, or how you approached them. The context of that, how they responded to an advance. The look in their eyes, the engagement, the smile. It's like somebody can be messed up on drugs all the time and still look okay in a photo. But if you saw that person for 5 seconds in real life, you'd be like, oh no.
Immediately.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, no, there's definitely like those girls on Tinder. They look great on Tinder or Instagram, but you see that girl in a club and you're like, oh no, that's a train wreck. Or, you know, guys for that example, right? I'm just
going what you know, right?
Exactly. I don't need to explain that point, but I think
you may look metrosexual in the sweater vest, but or in the whatever that is, but
it's dress code at my office. Actually,
he is a heterosexual. I can verify. I've made advances. I don't use Tinder a ton. I was in a 3-year relationship, and then in a 2-year relationship shortly after that. Jesus Christ. Anyway, but I haven't been single a ton of my adult post losing virginity career, I guess. So I haven't used Tinder a ton. I used it a bit when I was single, but
your fucking career.
Yeah. I was trying to be delicate.
Not on this podcast.
But I it has a purpose. Like I guess, do people? I don't know if people have the delusion isn't the right word, but like, do people have the idea that they can? Why are people on it? Are they trying to get a relationship, a long-term relationship? Are they trying to get married off of Tinder? Or are they just trying to have sex, right?
All of the above.
Yeah. And I mean, like, we both know somebody that has a relationship that stemmed from a Tinder date.
Yep.
Right? So...
took me a second.
Yeah, that's how I was pointing. But, and that's like a, multiple year committed relationship off of a Tinder date.
Yep.
But then people like degenerates like me and you do not use Tinder for that, the same end.
Hey, I've matched with my long-term ex like several times.
Cute. I don't know why. Several times.
It's like this morbid curiosity. It's like, what's going to happen? In the back of your mind, like, nothing good, but you do it anyways.
Do you think the same way that people base followers and likes, do you think that people get a hit to their self-esteem?
Oh, unbelievably.
They don't get swiped.
I would say it's a multiplier of what you would get on, per se, Instagram and the number of likes you get.
Yeah.
Especially with Canadian Instagram removing its likes, right?
Yeah.
I think matches, like, I know, like, I went on a date with a girl once and I asked her how many matches she had on Tinder. Mm-hmm. And it was over 15,000.
It's insane.
Like, lifetime.
Yeah.
Like, she got a notification that they're like, you've had over 15,000 likes.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane. Or it might have been more than that. It was an incredible number. And I'm like, how did I get a date with this girl, first of all?
Yeah.
But she's turned her notifications off at this point.
Yeah.
Like, it was just like, notify me every 100 matches. Like,
yeah.
I don't know how you possibly maintain that.
Yeah.
But no, sorry, that's likes, not matches. And like her perception of herself, with that or without that, I would argue that's not going to be the same, right?
Yeah.
It is going to change her perception of herself.
That's interesting.
And same with guys. Guys, I don't think guys get nearly as many matches as girls do, right?
I can't imagine they do.
Which is a weird thing. I'd like to see the stats on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about data now. But I think for guys and for girls, and like, if you are in, if you're feeling particularly unlovable or unlikable, and you have, you're in a really low place, and you have no success on, on a day on Tinder, on a day on Bumble, or a week or a month or whatever it may be,
that's just reinforcing that you're a piece of shit.
Exactly. Right? It's a lot of negative reinforcement,
yeah.
And you're in a space where I think real success is few and far between.
Yeah.
But it's only going to exacerbate the initial pain. But if you do have success, it's going to come from one single connection that could take years, just like any good relationship. You meet thousands of people every year, or hundreds, depends on how social you are.
Yeah.
Maybe 12.
Yeah.
Maybe 11. And it's really no different, but when you see that list in front of you, I think it's completely different.
Yeah.
And as you may be able to tell, I've been using Tinder for a while.
You're a Tinder expert.
Yeah, I am a Tinder expert off and on over the last couple of years. And yeah, it's really fucked with my head at times.
Yeah.
And at others, I was indifferent. But I think it just kind of brings out, it has a way of bringing out weakness for sure.
That's interesting. And do you think, we're talking about Tinder specifically, but do you think that applies to all social media where if people aren't getting, like, why did I get less likes on this picture than I did last? You think that fucks with people?
Yeah, absolutely. But
I know fucking girls that like delete pictures if they don't get enough likes.
Yeah, if they don't get enough likes in the first hour,
Yeah.
whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think it's just amplified by dating apps for those that actually care about using them. Some people just create them, don't care.
Yeah.
But for the people that really pay attention, because social popularity ties back to the human need to be accepted.
Yeah.
Because if the human need to be accepted, liked, loved, and respected is not fulfilled, you will be rejected from the tribe. And if you're rejected from the tribe, you end up in the woods. And if you're in the woods without your tribe, you die.
Yeah.
That's what not getting enough likes on Instagram stems from.
When I was reading you get a very similar dopamine hit from likes and engagements on Instagram than you do from like food and like other shit that that you like. You get a happy chemical in your brain that goes, "Whoa, we're happy now." Very similar. So that's why people kind of crave attention, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing, though.
Yeah, but when you don't have that coming from anything else, when it's your only happy dose that day,
yeah,
then you get yourself in trouble.
But then we're talking about there's a deeper issue if your only dose of dopamine is from.
Right.
From
so if that person didn't have social media, would they be just doing drugs?
Fair, yeah.
So is social media better because it's not drugs?
Because it's not drugs. Would I rather someone addicted to Facebook than addicted to fucking heroin? Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
So, I don't know. And like another thing about that I've really changed my opinion on, something that I have kind of come around on in the last 3 or 4 years of maturing, I guess, was that I thought I used to kind of be like, well, if you're not working and you're not doing business, it's like you're wasting your time if you're not whatever, stuff like that. And I think I've come around to be like, just whatever, like just be happy kind of thing. So I used to think that like, well, if you're scrolling on Facebook and you're looking at memes and you're fucking around and stuff like that, that's a waste of time. That's dumb. That's stupid. People shouldn't be doing that. They're spending all their time on social media. And that's a waste of time. But I'm just like, if it makes you happy, fuck it, right? If you like looking at memes, I like a lot of memes. I like some meme pages. If it makes you happy, whatever, right?
Is that any different than painting pet rocks and having collections of butterflies?
Right? Video games is a great example too. A lot of people say like they're very, they waste a lot of time. I'm not so much anymore, but I was a huge, gamer kid when I was younger. That's like all I did.
Yeah, a lot of entrepreneurs, admit to like, I go home and play a quick game of COD.
Yeah, I don't have much time anymore. I like to play a couple, stuff I can just kind of pick up and put back down, kind of thing. Like I haven't started any new.
So not the new Assassin's Creed campaign.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed or like I was a big Fallout fan. I haven't played Fallout 4 even though it came out 2 years ago, just because I'm like I'm gonna put 200 hours into this. I don't want to commit 200 hours to something. Like I just
can't do this halfway.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do it halfway. So I played a couple games like Hearthstone or whatever that you can just pick up for 20 minutes and then put back down. But I think that if people get gratification and dopamine and happiness from social media, they should be allowed to. Like why not? Like who cares?
Yeah, absolutely, because. In 15 years, less, the ability for people to simply travel or actually go out into the world and be able to afford to, move around. At least I hope it might go in a different direction, but, the ability to just kind of seek out other pleasures in life. Like me buying a nice mountain bike, that was a significant amount of savings and investment just to get a damn bike.
Yeah.
And like as an adult, after you've moved out and you're on your own for a while, like that's kind of a big deal. Man, I got a nice bike. It's like, wow, this is cool, right?
Yeah, I don't have a bike.
Exactly.
For that reason, because I don't want to drop a G on a bike.
Exactly. So like, where does that lead to? I think there's a lot of people that'll be kind of left with their back against the wall, and their only outlet is video games and social media.
Yeah.
It's like please the masses.
I don't think that's necessarily bad.
Keep them distracted. The Romans, they throw on the gladiator games to keep them from rioting.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to go there, but
that's what we do with sports today. Never mind. But I think that there is a lot of, obviously, it's a tool like anything else. Social media, right?
It can be used and misused.
Yeah, it can be, exactly. And I can use it for fun and to make money and to make myself happy, etc. But then I could also use it to bully people or to make myself sad by stalking my ex's profile. I may or may not have done when I was drunk last night. Anyway, but it's not like I can misuse the tool just as much as I can use it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Just like dating apps.
Yeah.
Right? You can really, really mess your shit up on those.
Yeah. I feel like, but do you think the average person, I know that people exist, but do you think the average person who's, relatively well adjusted and has friends and et cetera, do you think they actually really take, a hit when they don't get enough likes on their picture? Like, do you think it actually affects anyone? Or not anyone, but like the average person?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people out there that it does.
Do you think they know that? Do you think like anyone puts the two and two together? They're like, this app is making me sad. Maybe I should not do Instagram.
That comes to like meta self-awareness, and people that have it have it. And most people don't. Where you can identify a feeling that you're having, and think about that feeling that you're having instead of just being a victim to it.
Yeah.
I think most people just don't do that.
Gary Vaynerchuk said if you could teach anything, if you could do seminars on anything, it'd be how to teach self-awareness.
Yeah, how to think about what you think about.
Yeah.
Think about what you feel.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to add before I forget it, in a beer or two, the most liked guy ever on Tinder was nowhere near the number of likes as the most liked girl, might I add. But the most liked guy on Tinder was this like 6'4" mulatto guy who was a model, and I think he was like an investment banker and a model or something like that. I mean, of course. Like just gorgeous human being, and had tens of thousands of likes, and he was engaged to a girl that he met not on Tinder.
Okay, yeah.
He met her like at like some smoothie place or something. I don't know the story, but it was not on Tinder. Tens of thousands of likes, hundreds of matches, the best of the best, most gorgeous women on Tinder. And there's a lot of them, and he's engaged to this girl that wasn't there. Like, why didn't out of these hundreds of women, I'm sure at least 1% of them were suitable or perfect for him. Why did none of them work out?
Yeah, but like, why?
Is it a faux connection?
That's interesting. So
is it the pretense of the connection that ruins it?
We can agree that Tinder is effective for sleeping with people
and for meeting people.
Yeah, more or less. Tinder and similar apps, their effectiveness in that regard is not in question. But yeah, I wonder, because
does it set you up for success?
Yeah, I don't know.
The definition of success being you don't get divorced.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just that.
I guess I'm speaking as a relatively inexperienced in the realm.
Right. Well, related to social media, making friends, having a social life. Do you think it's a detriment because it props you up in the wrong ways?
No. One of my good friends.
Your tone went up pretty high there.
One of my good friends, shout out David, that I met online because, like, when I was 15 probably, we were in like a dumb meme group together, and we became friends. And he lives in Wyoming, United States, and like I've gone down there and visited him and hung out and stuff, and we met on Facebook, and yeah, he's a good friend of mine, and you know, I don't know, whatever. Like,
but just in a general sense, do you think being on social media it satisfies a part of you that
like, so I'm not making friends in real life because
like,
I'm making friends online?
Maybe not even not making friends. It's you're not maybe nurturing your friendships.
Yeah.
Because you're being fulfilled by meaningless connections.
But I think also the ability for me to send you a Snapchat at any time during the day.
Right, but that
helps our friendship. Like, we talk all the time, but I don't need to, like, call you on your landline, you know, to have a conversation with you. You can reply when you reply, kind of thing. Like, I think we're closer because of shit like that.
Yeah, like the direct messengers. I really, really enjoy the stories function.
Yeah.
Of Instagram and Snapchat. Like, my last Instagram post I made was like, oh man, like it's probably like 7 months ago.
Yeah, but your story was like boop 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 boop.
Yeah, but I post like 5 to 20 stories a day, and like 40 if I'm traveling.
If you guys follow me on Snapchat at Willows, you know I post almost everything. But I often don't put captions or anything. I don't put words on it. I just kind of like, and I try to make them nice looking pictures and stuff like that. And it's kind of like, how I see it is it's a story of my journey. I always say follow the adventure.
Right.
At the Willows, right? Like I feel like I'm explaining my life through, you know, you see me every day, right? And I like to take a snap before I go to bed when I wake up in the morning, so you can see how much I'm sleeping and, you know, stuff like that. Events I'm at and stuff I'm doing, but I rarely put captions on them.
But that's how I can keep up to you and what you're doing.
Yeah, but I have a ton of people that have never met me that message me. They're like, hey, you've actually inspired me to pursue my business or whatever like that.
Because it's constant action.
Because they watch on my Snapchat every single day.
Yeah.
And I like doing that too because I like taking a snap of, you know, me in a business meeting and then 3 hours later take a snap of me, you know, taking a shot of tequila with like half naked girls. And I like, because I think that's lacking a lot is that you know, what people post is always their best.
Yeah.
And I like to show people that I'm just maybe not an average guy, but I'm just a fucking guy just trying to do his best and you know, run a business. I'm not a genius, and I fuck around and I do weird things and whatever. So I like to illustrate that, and I think that kind of authenticity is why I have a lot of people I have 3 people with my name tattooed on them. So I think that kind of authenticity is why I have, you know, fans, for lack of a better word.
Right, and
but I couldn't illustrate any of that without social media.
Yeah, I know, absolutely. And I think it connects you to your friends. I've got probably at least a dozen relationships rekindled because of, let's say I did some interesting trip. I got offered an opportunity from a local brewery to like make a little bit of money because I was in Cleveland close to where they wanted something done.
I'll deal with that later.
Yeah, it was just because they saw me like shit posting in Cleveland.
Yeah.
And then a buddy of mine, D, is in Cleveland for some reason.
Shout out D.
I don't know what he's doing, but D, one of the coolest guys I've ever met.
Yeah, he's cool.
Always gets me a birthday present without fail, even if he doesn't stay for the party.
Yeah, I remember that.
Super reliable.
Yeah.
Like, this guy knows what's up.
He hooked us up with this alarm system in this building.
And, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been in Cleveland for some reason. I haven't asked.
Yeah.
But he reached out to one of my coworkers about something because we do real estate in Cleveland. And then they saw that they had a mutual friend in me. And they're like, oh, you know, Tyler's like, yeah, he's in my office. They're like, oh, I love that guy. That guy's great. He's really smart. And it's like,
that's funny.
How does this happen? It's just, it's social media. It's like, I'm posting about this city I'm interested in, this city I'm working in. I'm in this city in Iowa. Now I'm in Cleveland. It's like, I'm swinging through Minneapolis. And it's like, there is a bunch of interesting things that happen. And there's real estate investors. We just got a real estate investor out of Newfoundland that reached out to us, like DM'd us on Facebook because she wanted to buy some houses from us because she was kind of sick of investing in Newfoundland, kind of a dead-end market in some ways, right? And she found us just because she's been watching our stories and our posts, and we look back, and she's always watching our stories. We had one mutual friend connection, which is how she found us. And she's been sharing like all of our posts in the last couple of weeks. And we're like, wow, we didn't even know about this person. And she's been clearly consuming our content for a while.
Yeah.
And like that's from a business perspective, that was really cool.
Yeah. Well, I think that part of social media is awesome. And like, well, we've kind of taken everything, like literally everything, and made it streamlined and more effective and then put it online.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, like, my ex and I like to do we like to go to different restaurants, go to new restaurants. So I used to just go on Facebook and literally look at, like, restaurants near me that it thinks I would like, or Google it, and Google knows what you kind of like, because if you, like, add to your map or whatever, it kind of knows. Like, I get texts from Google that say, or, like, push notifications that say, hey, a new restaurant just opened, 86% similar to restaurants that you like.
It's unreal.
Maybe try it out.
Yeah.
And I love that shit. And like I know a lot of people, maybe not a lot of people, but you get the people that cry privacy and don't like that shit. I don't care.
Privacy is an illusion.
I post where I am every single day. I really don't care about privacy.
If you want privacy, get rid of everything.
I have a 448B Brooklyn Street, Winnipeg. Come find me. I have a publicly posted address in my office where I hang out every day.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I go to markets all the time. I publicly post where I go because I want to sell stuff. Like, you know, I'm not worried about privacy at all. So I love shit like that. Anything that makes my life more convenient, love it.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, where do I want to go for dinner tonight? And then the FBI agent in my phone sends me a push notification of like, hey, this place is new near you.
Yeah.
And I tried out, and I've gone to a bunch of places I love because of good reviews or shit like that because of social media, right? Because like I had a guy doing my Instagram for a bit for my business, and he had a couple other clients, and he was telling me he talks to restaurants that are like, they're like, what's your Instagram handle? Like, what? Mm-hmm. Like, they don't even know what it is.
Handle?
Yeah, like, they don't even know.
Or handle?
You know, and it blows this guy's mind because he's like, how can you even be in business?
Yeah.
Without, I try to make one post a day on my business Instagram, at Shrug Dog. But it's like, how people don't even have it. Like, restaurants don't even have it. Because, like, I go to breweries a lot. And a lot of them are like closed Monday, Tuesday and stuff because they're, you know, small team and everything.
Yeah.
I don't even Google it. I go on Instagram to see if they're open.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm like, well, they didn't post today. You know, it's...
I went to one of my favorite restaurants, and I just looked on Google to see if they were open.
Yeah.
Said they were. Showed up. There's a notice on the door that says, closed today due to power outage.
Sure.
I go on their Instagram story. 2 hours earlier, they posted, hey, we're closed for the day. I'm like... Damn it.
Yes.
If I would have looked on social media instead of Google, I would have seen that and I could have saved my time.
And that, yeah, like, so stuff like that I think has brought, you know,
made the world closer.
Unequivocally. Like, no questions asked. The social media has improved a lot of things.
Yeah, we're getting to the point where Google's almost so social.
Rest in peace, Google Plus, but yeah.
Right. Well, yeah. Like this post if you use Google Plus.
Yeah, they have winners and losers, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know. Like, is your biggest detriment, you think, to social media as the whole is pretty much self-esteem and that kind of culture?
I think the biggest detriment of it is it giving you a false feedback loop.
Okay. Meaning?
Where, you know, when you do something in life, you get a response from it, and you gauge responses, you gauge what happens, and you make decisions on your life based on that, right?
Yeah.
You try a new job. If it works, you get good feedback, you move on.
Yeah.
Anything. And I think if you have the feedback loop of social media, people can place too much value on it, but it's also, in many cases, a very raw and almost brutally honest, overly brutally honest way of people responding to you, your image or your content.
Yeah.
So, I mean, some good, some bad with it. But I think in the context of dating apps in general, I think it can hurt people that are not in a good place for it. And I think it can also be great for people that are using it for what it's intended for.
Yeah.
Like it's like, I don't know, now that beer number 2 is hitting, I'm kind of back to the tool analogy.
Yeah.
It's good if you use it, destructive if you use it wrong.
Yeah, but you're probably under the opinion that the average person uses it wrong, incorrectly.
The problem is, I don't think people so much use social media as they get on it because everyone is and everyone does. So the result of it probably is just amplifying what's already happening inside that person.
Yeah.
It's like using social media is not really a choice anymore.
Yeah.
Especially as an entrepreneur. Which
especially, yeah.
We've discussed a fair number of ways, right? So if it's not a choice and it's not going well, or you don't know how to use it effectively, that's not a great result. So either you resign to the fact that you're just like, I'm not good on this thing, or I'm not good.
That's interesting.
There's those two different people. I'm not good on this social media platform, or I'm not good. Some people can't split those.
Because people would base their efficiency of, like, if I don't get a lot of likes on Instagram, that means people in real life don't like me. That kind of mentality, right?
It doesn't even have to go that far.
Yeah.
It's everyone does Instagram. It's important to everyone, and I'm not good at it.
Yeah. So therefore, I am not good.
Right.
Interesting.
It's not super optional at this
point.
Yeah,
but how do you, okay, if it's not super optional and it's not going away anytime soon, how do you fix that then?
Become better.
Well, do you think, and this is kind of a crazy question, but think about it. Like, it's going to sound stupid. Do you think that, in 2050, you're going to have public school classes talking about, hey, Instagram likes aren't, whatever. Like,
I think it'll be sooner than that.
Sure, but do you think stuff like that's going to happen where they have to?
Yeah, definitely.
Interesting.
So if it's something that people don't feel is optional, what do you think the obligation is that, like, now you're talking about a private company that seems to have a public obligation.
Facebook we're talking about.
Or Instagram, or Twitter, or LinkedIn.
Sure.
LinkedIn not so much. Let's say, Facebook, Instagram, for example.
Yeah.
Now they're a private company with a seemingly general public responsibility.
Yeah.
That sounds painful as hell.
Yeah.
As that CEO.
Yeah.
It'd be like an entrepreneur trying to become a public company CEO. That's two different lifestyles. It's two different people. It's two different businesses. It's two different ecosystems.
Yeah.
So, first of all, why are tech entrepreneurs rushing to go public? Second of all, likes on Instagram getting abolished. I mean, it's been that way in Canada for a couple of months now.
Yeah. Yeah, like you can't see other people's likes.
You just see this person and others, and you could scroll.
You can scroll if you wanted to. You could count all the likes, but you can't see a like number.
Yeah. Anything over 100, you couldn't realistically count.
Yeah.
Or really understand. So
I'm sure there's a bot that can do it, but
yeah. Yeah, it's kind of leveling the playing field, but I like it because I used to look at the picture, look at the likes, look at the picture, look at the likes, look at the picture, look at the likes. Yeah. Now I just look at the picture.
Yeah, which is I think the intent.
And I like that.
They were rolling it out in America as well?
They're talking about it.
I like it. I hated it when I heard about it because I thought they were just getting rid of the counting feature, and I'm like, well, how do I know if my business posts are engaging then?
Right.
But you can still look as the person who uploaded the picture. You can go on Instagram. You can still look. You can see them.
Right, which is fine.
But nobody else can see them.
Your peers can't see them.
Yeah, and you can't see other people's. Yeah, no, I like the update. I think it's.
I like it because it forces you to focus on the content rather than the status of the content.
Yes, because like the whole, what was the thing that they tried to get the most retweets of all time? It was dumb. It was like an egg.
It was an egg. I think. Yeah.
And I think they did it. They got the
likes. I think it was likes as well on Instagram.
Yeah, it was like the most liked picture on Instagram was just this egg, and they did it to subjugate the idea that likes are important.
Right.
That was kind of the idea, or that's what I got from it. Was the social commentary they were trying to? They're like, well, you're not going to be as liked as this egg,
So the social responsibility of private companies that become successful.
Yeah.
That's.
What do you think about
should be right.
like presidential candidate Elizabeth Warren saying she wants to break up Facebook?
I don't think there's much benefit in government meddling in it because if the private company can't figure it out, I don't think the government can.
I agree.
Just say.
I agree with that. Yeah. What do you think about the implication? While we're talking about American politics, what do you think about the implication of Russian bots swaying the election by taking
Russian bots writing fire memes, destroying one particular candidate, and they're such good memes they go viral and influence voter decisions.
Yeah,
honestly, you earned it.
I think I agree with that. I think if people are dumb enough to be swayed, because I literally saw the headline.
It's because
freaking out about it. They're like, these Russians are interfering in the elections. I'm like, okay, how?
Yeah.
Did they hack these machines? How are they doing this? And it's like, well, they're making Facebook groups that are anti-Clinton. I'm like, what does that mean?
Anybody can do that.
Anyone, why is that influencing you enough to change? That was dumb. But, that's another, side of social media is that politics have gotten, closer to the average
really
person.
Complicated.
Yeah, but I think that millennials now are more educated on politics than they ever have been because of social media.
But do you think it's correct education or miseducation?
So there's something called an echo chamber, where if all I do on Facebook is like pages that I agree with, then my entire feed is going to be stuff I agree with.
Yes.
And I've never shown, because I personally, I'm pretty libertarian. So I don't really agree with far right or far left, but I like both far left and far right pages because I want to see stuff I disagree with.
So you have a fairly neutral echo chamber
to stimulate my brain,
right.
and I troll both of them, but I want to see stuff I disagree with because I don't want to just be in this it happens a lot in rural places where everyone's the same and everyone is the same thing, and you get so you don't know any different, right?
Right.
But because if I see, for example, if I just all I like is pages that say Justin Trudeau is a terrible prime minister and should be impeached and arrested and whatever, if that's all I like, then that becomes my reality. Is everybody hates Justin Trudeau? Back
to the feedback loop thing.
Yeah.
You can create incredible feedback loops where you get continuously validated. Accurate news or not. It can be I love reading articles. You see clickbaity article, you read it. The first sentence says something that leads towards a clickbait thing, but the conclusion of the article is we actually don't know anything about anything at all whatsoever, and we may or may not know this or not.
I don't know the statistic, but it's high. Because you can track link clicks.
Yeah.
It's high, the amount of people that share articles without reading them.
Yes.
Right?
They share headlines.
Yeah. I remember, I read an article on it. I can't remember the statistic, but because you can see who actually clicked in your link.
Yeah.
And then you go farther, you can see, I can see how long someone spends on my website.
So do you think Facebook should be accountable to notify people of the accuracy of that headline?
They have been.
They have been, right?
They have it now.
The truth check or whatever.
Yeah, under the fact check or whatever, under the article it says this is fake news or whatever. I think there's a lot of memes that are just fucking false. That are just like the one that comes to mind is that really long one that's like, you know, an immigrant family gets $4,000 a month from the Canadian government.
Right.
And a pensioner gets $1,900 or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
And it's just wrong. Like, that's just not true. But that's like one of the most, I see it everywhere. These boomers sharing it, thinking, it's like,
oh, that sounds like something that I could get behind and mad about.
Yeah, but it's just not true, right? And there's a ton of those, like, you know, memes. It's like, well, why are we giving this, you know, person, Muslim, this welfare? Why are they just on welfare? It's like, if they're not citizens, they're not getting welfare, right?
So how long until high school has a class on memes?
How long? I think colleges already do. My cousin's in marketing right now at University of Manitoba, I think, whatever, at a university, and they literally talk about like the effectiveness of memes in marketing and stuff. Like, it's a thing.
And rewind to when we first met, and you were talking about hiring a marketing guy that would make memes for you.
He still has admin privileges on my website.
And I thought that was the worst. I'm like, that is so stupid, Willows. But, you know, fast track 2 years ahead, 3 years ahead, it's like, if you made fantastic memes about your business or about your industry or about whatever it is that you sell, you might get some pretty significant attention.
I do, and I have.
Yeah.
Some of the memes I've made, I basically just put my logo on. Like, my logo's a doctor, right? It's a shrugging doctor, so I take the doctor's face and put it on memes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, I've done one that, like, the whole, you know, the swerving the car into an exit meme, where it's like other ones I haven't tried. It's like more shrugging doctor, and it's just swerving into that and stuff. Like, stuff like that. That gets a lot of attention.
Yeah, it does.
Like, I get
I like it.
Significant likes.
I can enjoy that and relate to that much more quickly than a fucking ad.
Exactly, yeah. And so I think we could probably both agree that social media for businesses specifically is not only great, but necessary almost.
So now we wind back to, if you're meme literate, you can be a marketer.
But I think, what do you think the percentage of millennials and Gen Z that are meme literate? Probably 100%. Right,
meme literate to creative is different factor, right?
Yeah. Because the average, like, there's memes that are like 6 memes deep. Like, you have to understand 2 other obscure memes to understand this meme. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you ever see those?
Yeah, you send me that shit all the time.
Yeah, I love it. Because I am deep in the meme. But I think stuff like that is integral in business now.
Yeah.
Maybe not memes specifically, but understanding social media, I think absolutely integral.
This is making me realize that we're so different in business.
Me and you?
Yeah. You're in wine. It's a brand contest. It's a popularity contest in a major way.
Say that again. Sure.
Wine is it's a brand contest. It's a popularity contest in a major way. And I'm in real estate. Yeah. And on one side of our business, it's entirely brand driven, and it's all about vanity, right? What people want to be a part of. And that'd be the investor side.
Yeah.
Like the Property Brothers franchise, fantastic franchise. Things like that, right? We want to become that, new sexy rehab kings. Like, look at this house. We fixed this house. It looked like this. It was disgusting. And now it looks like this. And now there's a happy family. HGTV bullshit. Yeah. People love it. I love it. And on the flip side, the way we actually make our money is completely unsexy. We deal with tenants on a day-to-day basis. We deal with title companies. We deal with people that are bankrupt and have to sell their homes. We deal with the banks, mortgage brokers, insurance brokers, contractors, people that are constantly trying to fuck you up and steal your money at every turn. Like, that's the reality of the business. The optics are one thing.
But then that's you knowing what to market.
Right.
Right.
And it's like, I really enjoy that business because you don't have to be forward or attractive or, current to make money. I like just making money. Mm-hmm. And in your business, it's like...
I like the optics, though.
Right.
I like brand.
Enjoy that part.
I like being the center of attention.
Right.
Right. Stuff like that.
And I'd rather just make money.
Yeah.
So we have different styles and same personality types, right?
Yeah.
Different approaches to the same problem.
Which I think I said that a long time ago. That like there's a wall in my winery that's all the news articles I've ever been featured in, and I put that up because that's like in lieu of paying myself, because I didn't pay myself, the first 2 years of my business. That was like me getting paid. I love that. Like the attention. Like I'm like, I could go out of business right now. They can never take that away from me. When you Google me, it's pages of me, of articles I've been in, right? That, in my mind, is like I've been paid. I've been rewarded.
So what do you think initiated that?
What do you mean? That mentality?
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's probably a pivotal point. One thing you did. I'm sure this would probably take a lot of therapy and or LSD to find. There's probably a pivotal point where you put something out into the world and you were rewarded by it, and you saw real world implications and rewards and satisfaction from that.
Yeah.
And you had success. And in that same sort of pivotal moment, I got the adverse result. Therefore, I'm less attracted to the idea.
That's interesting.
So we have the same personality, same tendencies, but I have an adverse reaction to popularity, while you have a positive reaction.
Yeah. Well, because I'm pretty much under the impression, like I believe in like all press is good press,
right,
and stuff like that. Like,
and I agree with all those things.
Like I'd rather have, not that I like it, but like when people like cyberbully me or talk shit about my brand or whatever, I'm like, well, at least they're talking about me. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, but it's probably something obscure, like that one afternoon your dad said no to playing catch with you in the yard. Yeah. And it affected your relationships for the rest of your life. Like, it's probably in that case.
I can't think of anything that comes to my head.
No, because it's probably meaningless.
Yeah, I've always been like that as far as I can remember. I've liked attention, and I'm big into film, which is why I edit all these. And I used to make movies when I was a toddler. My parents had this big VHS camcorder, and I would edit by having 2 VCRs and like stopping and starting and re-recording and stuff, and like before computers. This is in 1999, 2000. I was like filming movies with my toys and me as an actor and stuff like that, and then I would show them for all my family and friends and stuff. And like that, even when I was that young, I loved to do that shit. Right? So, and this I think is just probably a.
I'm just thinking as you're going through this that, let's say in the next 10, 15 years, you go to a psychiatrist or a psychologist or therapist or whatever you want to call it. I'm just butchering the profession. Oops. And the first thing they do is they'll ask for all your social media, and they'll just plow through it and go back to like when you were 7,
trying to find you
when you first got Facebook.
Yeah.
And maybe they have a bot for this, and they're like, oh, this went poorly for you. Oh, this happened here. And then they go into the first session with all these hot buttons, and you don't even have to tell them about your life. They fucking know.
Because that was the first session.
Give them, because there's all these permissions and layers of security. Yeah. Imagine if you could just give your therapist
access to
that, and they had a way to use that data in a certain way. Oh, man, I'd probably have my problems solved by now.
Because that was the first session I ever had with my therapist. He said, just tell me about your life.
Right.
I said, I don't know where to start. He's like, where you think is valuable, that's going to tell me a lot.
Right. They always say that.
Just go.
But if you had an AI
that already knew. Yeah.
That would be so rip to that profession.
Yeah, we just have a bot that gives me therapy now. So
honestly, it's like the movie.
It like churns your problems based on your social media and prints you out a result. It's like, you need to change this because of this trauma, and we analyze that.
And you like check on a multiple choice list what kind of person you want to become.
Yeah.
Because it's such an expert at manipulating human behavior, it can make you into anything that you want. So it's like genetic engineering post birth.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, I mean we're close.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
It's like I was thinking the movie Her, where you have this incredibly intelligent AI just directly plugged into your ear, and everybody has this relationship with this thing that's artificial.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not too many steps far beyond social media.
Yeah.
Because now we consider valid the opinions and things and results we get from social media. Those are valid, those are real. You know, that's not that far removed from a computer giving us that signal versus a human being.
Yeah.
So that's wild.
Yeah. Do you think people,
aliens, man,
conscious or not, act differently on social media than they do in real life?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think so too.
Everyone acts different in front of their parents versus their friends. It's no different.
That's a good analogy. Yeah.
I mean, I don't talk like this in front of my grandmother.
Well, I get like, yeah.
And she doesn't listen to podcasts.
I get people online that say shit to me that would never say it in real life.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah, classic. Oh, I'll fuck your mother and kill your family.
Yeah.
And it's like, they wouldn't even look at you straight in the face if you saw them.
Keyboard warrior, they call that.
Keyboard warriors, exactly.
So do you think that like, I know people, I guess I don't know them personally, but I know them, online, that are like the admin of a group that has 100,000 members, and they have like an inflated sense of worth.
Oh yeah.
Do you think that translates to real life though? Do you think that they're, because like, well, I'm the shit online, so then they have higher self-esteem in real life?
Probably.
Which is interesting, right?
I just know that trying to date a girl with 100,000 followers is really hard. It's damn near impossible. You're as disposable as...
Unless you have 101,000
It's a status competition, right?
Yeah. Which, do you think that's... But do you think that's changed in human behavior?
No.
Yeah.
It's no different than money. It's
just shifted from, who has the biggest hut and rocks
status
to money to social media, right?
But money equals status. You can make You can make up for poverty with status.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back to the getting accepted by the tribe.
Yeah.
Short of being rejected by the tribe, ending up in the woods, starving and dying, is remaining in the tribe, decreasing in status, ending up with a shittier job, the less desirable mate, and less desirable life. And you become, a lower part of society. That used to become a lot more important than it is now.
Well, yeah, of course.
And that programming, over 6,000 years, it's been that way. We spent 200 years in a modern society. You're kidding yourself if you don't think it's important. So.
But then we've spent 10 on social media.
Right. So yeah, likes, status.
Same thing.
It is the same thing. So, now drunk enough to get into tribal acceptance of human beings and animal behavior.
He's had like 2 beers. It's not.
I know. It's really, really sad.
Take a 90-pound white man and don't feed him all day, and then give him 2 beers. This is what happens.
97. Thank you.
You're really 97 pounds.
No.
Okay, I was gonna say, Jesus Christ.
No, I'm at least 3 digits.
Awesome.
So now that we've wound all the way back to animal and tribal behavior of human beings historically, which is about as irrelevant as you can get to social media.
Yeah, but
does it matter, or is it important or not? I think based on thinking about that, which is where I always default to human nature.
Yeah.
When I say human nature, is like the animal nature of a human.
Yeah.
I think social media is important because status is and always has been important.
Well, because even before money, like even before,
There was always a measure.
There was always a measure, yeah.
So,
and I think pre-currency, it was probably based more on strength, physical strength, than it was.
Yeah. It absolutely was.
Yeah.
The tribes were led by the strong.
Yeah.
Now the tribes are led by the rich.
Yeah.
So next is the tribes are led by the popular.
That's interesting.
So look
really
out.
Interesting.
Look out, politicians, because Jay-Z's about to be president.
Yeah. Well, look at Donald Trump, even. Right?
Exactly.
Donald
it's
Trump,
the first of many.
And I guess Donald Trump is he's the bridge between
rich and popular.
That's exactly what I was going to say, because soon we may have a president or a prime minister or whoever who's poor but popular.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Someone who has 10 million followers on Instagram and gets those 10 million people out and votes for them and wins.
But these days that guy's rich.
Yes. Well, what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. Like,
yes.
There's
popular first, rich.
Trump just
rich
happened to be rich.
Rich because popular.
Because Trump was pretty much got popular because he was rich, essentially.
And he just had the brashness and audacity to float.
Personality notwithstanding, though.
Right.
Right.
How many billionaires go in WWE? Not many.
Yeah, but how many people with Trump's personality are there that aren't famous? Lots.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, plenty.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
That's gonna be wild.
What?
Politics.
Well, people are like.
Especially if voting goes online.
And I'm not necessarily. Like, I probably wouldn't have voted for Donald Trump if I was American. I like that he's president.
It's good for my business.
I like the memes. No, but I think it's like, it's good to shake up politics every so often. Like, it's nice to have him in that's not a politician. He
doesn't hold any accountability to the political system.
His policies notwithstanding, I'm not going to get into it. I don't really care. I like it for America. It's what America deserves right now, honestly.
Yeah.
Whether you like him or not.
They got it, they deserve it.
You got it, what you deserve. And I will go on the record, I think he's going to win a second term.
Yeah.
I think he's going to win. Anyway, but that notwithstanding, I think, it's interesting because then you hear leftist people that say Oprah Winfrey should run.
Oh, that would be.
And win to take it away from Donald Trump. And then you hear, in my mind, I'm going okay, so the reality TV star who you hate as president, you think another reality TV star should come in. It's like.
Yeah, and I think there's a percentage of, people and there's a percentage of your consciousness that kind of pulls back at the very end when you're in the voting booth and you're like, man, I love this guy. I think he'd be great as president. And then at some point you're like, oh my goodness, is this person qualified? Well, but that threshold is lowered enough to allow someone like Trump in.
Yeah.
It's going to lower further.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to keep going down.
Where the likes and appreciation and admiration outweighs the person's ability to do the job.
Joe Rogan always says it's a popularity contest to see who controls the nukes.
Yeah.
Right?
Joe Rogan.
And the president has a lot more power than the Prime Minister of Canada does, for instance.
Commander of 4 subs and 3 Blackhawks.
Well,
and 3 of the subs are in Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
In a museum.
Yeah, in a museum. Yeah, it's just interesting that social media has been able to prop so. I think social media won Trump the election.
Probably. Because the media was entirely against him.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
That made social more excited about him.
And there's more. The thing about social media that's unarguable is that there's more eyes on everything.
Yeah.
Every single thing that goes on in the world, there's more eyes on it because of social media.
More scandalous, the better.
Yeah, but 2 billion people on fucking Facebook are looking at what's happening, in Turkey with the Kurds right now. People that wouldn't care and wouldn't see it now see it because people they follow post it, stuff like that.
The scary part is whoever's controlling that content could redirect your attention any way they like.
But that's no difference than the media being able to do that.
Right.
Right? But what I like about social media, for instance, is that people with no political affiliation and people with no one, paying them in the back to force your attention one way are able to get people's attention and talk about whatever.
I think the only thing that's dangerous about that is people already assume that media is bought and paid for by the rich and wealthy.
But they don't think Instagram influencers are.
Right. They mistakenly think that the fact is not the same about the other two, but they are absolutely private companies.
But Instagram influencers have now become, what they've become is different than even 3 years ago. They can literally be media outlets. Look at like Vice News.
Right.
Or even like
Barstool Sports.
Barstool Sports. That's
There's
the other,
like no
on the other
sports
side.
on that channel.
On
I'm
the other,
so confused.
Yeah, on the other side. The owner too was like, just recently got in hot water because he was like, if my employees unionize, I'm firing all of them. Stuff like that, and then they called him out on it, and he doubled down. He's like, well, fuck you. It was, Google that, Barstool Sports owner unionize. It's a really good read. It's so funny. Yeah, but like shit like that, where like literally and even like Now This or the other 98% or like these Facebook and Instagram pages are becoming like legit BuzzFeed.
Yeah.
Right? They're becoming...
Fuck Jerry.
Yeah, well, yeah, but they're becoming like legitimate sources of news.
Yeah.
Not only news, but like, stuff like that, and they have no accountability to anybody. They can post whatever they want.
But that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, so, and I'm for that in a libertarian sense, but then I'm also like, they're posting fake things all the time. And they have no accountability. Because like the news kind of has an accountability just because they're held to professional standards. But no one's, taking a lawsuit against an Instagram account for having false information. They're like, well, they're idiots anyway. Like, why would you, you know what I mean? Like, it's...
Yeah, but is that coming?
Well, I think as, like, Instagram influencers or anything, pages, whatever, they're becoming legitimate media organizations.
Yeah.
Right? And they're
exercising
companies,
their First Amendment or whatever the fuck it is. That's free speech.
Yeah, but they're companies with employees and
profits
and money and everything, right? They're no longer just some random guy, posted ranting about politics on Instagram kind of thing, right? Like there's organizations.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's no different than the news.
Yeah, but I think it's just evolving.
I listened to an interesting podcast called Business Wars.
Sure.
Plug.
Sponsor us.
It was Pulitzer versus Hearst.
Okay.
Hearst, I think.
With a Z.
Something like that. Yeah. They were like kind of the two superpowers, and you'll know who won by the fact that you only know one of those names. But they were competing newspapers, and they were kind of like the battle between those two newspapers is what basically created modern media.
Yeah.
Of, the extra, here's the today's news, or they put on an extra article in the afternoon because something happened since morning.
Yeah.
Like that happened because of their competitiveness, and they had no accountability except to the number of copies they sold.
Yeah. Well, that's why tabloids exist.
Right. So since the birth of the newspaper, since humans, got their...
They've been trying to get outrage clicks.
Right.
Right? By printing a shitty headline, getting people to buy your paper.
Yeah, clickbait and outrage clicks has been around as long as Pulitzer.
Yeah.
So fucking ruminate on that and take that problem to Facebook.
That's why I'm saying nothing's changed.
No, exactly.
Like
fundamentally, humans will get the same result out of everything.
Fundamentally, everything that already happened moved to social media, but it was already happening.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah.
only difference is now we can have conversations around those articles rather than just reading them.
Yeah, which is cool, right?
Yeah.
Like although I don't think it's that effective, I don't think the comment section of a Vice article is very productive. Like, I don't think anyone's no one gets in those debates to change their mind. They're already entrenched in what they think, and
or they're like you, just a troll.
Why? So what I do, it's like I show up to a meeting 15 minutes early, and I sit in my car and I comment on some right-wing article, some left thing, or vice versa. I comment on some left-wing article, some right thing, and just let people argue with me. And then when my meeting happens, 2 minutes before, I just mute the conversation and let them yell at each other. And I do that for fun. So, but I had a guy who works for a brewery here. He told me the other day, we were at an event together. He's like, man, your stuff always pops up in my Facebook feed because I'm on Facebook. He's like, your shit always pops up on my Facebook feed. Love it. Keep doing it. I love all the ridiculous things. Because I always comment taxation is theft on stuff, and that's a statement that both the right and the left usually gets mad at me for, and stuff like that where but
yes.
Yeah,
that's one thing that everyone gets mad at me for.
Taxation is that. More accurately, it's extortion, because it's stealing from you with threat of force, right? Anyway, but me doing that, 5 years ago, myself would have been like, oh, I'm wasting my time. I need more, with friends in MLM that was reading, Robert Kiyosaki. I'm like, whoa, I can't do that. I got to be disciplined. I got to not. But it's like the little enjoyment I get from just getting people outraged on Facebook.
Why do you think you enjoy that so much?
I don't know. People are dumb.
Why is that entertaining?
Why is
AFB entertaining?
Well, yeah,
why
exactly.
YouTube?
Yeah, why is anything entertaining?
Yeah, people getting punched in the balls.
Why is that?
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's good. It's classic entertainment.
Exactly.
So in conclusion, we're in agreement.
In conclusion, you think social media is pretty okay? Do you?
The status in it.
Let's say you could stop. You could flick a switch. You could flick a switch and turn off social media, and it would never come back. And in 5 years, people would be like, "Yeah, I guess it was just a fad and went away." Would you do that? Do you think it's a good thing?
I don't think it changes anything.
Yeah.
That's my first response.
Okay.
It's like throwing a rock in a river. Are you going to divert the current? Technically.
Yeah. Okay.
But did you? No.
Because I think talking to you now, I think you probably think the same thing. This is just the current iteration
of the same thing.
Of human life.
Correct. Stop fighting it.
Yeah. But I think you started this podcast by saying it was probably bad.
Correct.
Oh.
So that means
I changed my mind last episode. I think.
Right. So that means a little bit of beer removes the
bias, maybe.
Removes the bias. Perhaps removes the fears, weaknesses, whatever you want to call it. Perhaps some emotions that have tied around social media. Perhaps it's all tied to Tinder.
Maybe you haven't got enough matches on Tinder and you're pissed off and you think we should all delete our social media.
Shout out, Fall. No, I've never had luck on those platforms, and ironically keep trying. It's no, it could be something. I don't know, but you lower your barriers and you change your mind. So in conclusion, I'm in agreement.
Interesting.
Thank beer, as they say.
I am also in agreement. Drunk. I think that
with yourself initially.
Yeah, I know.
At least you didn't flip flop.
I haven't changed my mind. I think it's productive for the average person. I think it's productive for a business owner, and I think it's necessary for a business. I think the levels of connection we get with people, the ability for me to talk to people 5,000 miles away, in an instant. Yeah. The ability for me to illustrate my life and my journey Document, I think, is important too.
Yeah. So take care of and be good at the things that matter.
I think there's nothing inherently negative about the platform. I think people use it negatively.
Always.
But that's with anything. People are going to use it negatively. I think we're going to end it there. Thanks for watching or listening. This has been Alcohol Beyond This Point. This is episode 3, I think. This is episode 3, right? Yeah. Talking about social media. That was interesting. I'm glad that you flip-flop. That's funny.
It's always good to win.
Yeah. I won the debate. Follow us. We have a Facebook page, Alcohol Beyond This Point. You can follow me on anything, Vote Willows, VOTEWILOWS, and I don't know what Tyler doesn't. Tyler doesn't use social media. He doesn't think it's valuable.
No, follow me, Tyler Bergen on Facebook, at Tyler Bergen DBP on Instagram. That's it. And cheers, I guess. We're saying cheers. This is awkward. Yeah.